to say I've failed miserably at documenting these footer forms. I just got at it and I basically didn't take a break. So I'm actually just stopping for a moment to sort of slow my pace, make sure everything's still in alignment, and kind of walk through what these forms are and what I've been doing. So these are Mono Slab EZ Forms. They're basically a footer form and insulation all in one package. I've used these before, so I'm familiar with how they go in. It's going pretty smoothly and pretty quickly just because I've already gone past the learning curve. So how these work is what I've been doing is we had the whole site graded within a few inches or so. It was a little lower in the back, so what you'll see is I have maybe 1 to 3 inches of stone in some areas, at least in height. It's spread out a little more. I'm using 1-inch wash stone, which makes it really, really easy to drop and rake out. If you were to get crusher run, you'd be having a nightmare trying to get these things settled. If one rock is popping up, this foam form will just sort of rock all over the place and not settle in. So wash stone makes it really easy. So I pretty much just dump it in the path. We have everything marked off and squared out and strung up, so that makes everything, if you spend the time doing that ahead of time, again, it'll make this fly. So you'll see that our string is right in line, and you'd be surprised when you first start putting these forms down. It almost seems like it's going to be impossible, but once you sort of see how it works and you get the forms together, get them leveled, start putting in stakes to keep them in their spot, you should have about two stakes per form. And then when you go ahead and you drop in this 2x8, there's actually a channel in here. This 2x8 will really lock things together. So I went ahead and bought 16 footers because I'm spanning a long distance here. You could just get 8s. These foam forms are 8 feet in length, so you would just stagger them between, stagger a board between, but the 16s are making it a lot easier, a lot quicker. It's keeping everything really straight. So yeah, it's kind of pretty straightforward. Is you put your stone down, put the form down, put the 2x8 board in. They call it a screed board. You will screw together your spots here that'll hold this corner together tight, and then what's going to happen is you will go ahead and backfill up against these before you ever pour concrete, so that these things are really locked in. The stakes in the board might hold it. You definitely don't want to rely on that. The manufacturer requires you to backfill it, so highly recommend to not skip that step. You do not want that nightmare of something breaking and losing all your concrete. So it went very well on the last job I did with these, so I'm not expecting any issues. So what I've done is sort of laid, first I squared everything out, and then I laid the entire back length of the house. This is 108 feet. This is the house and a 3-car garage. It does look really long, but that's why. It also includes a 3-car garage. Then this is going to be a 24-foot wall. So this house is sort of a T-shape. So there's a big giant rectangle here, and then it will jut out with another 24-foot wide by about 40-50 feet long, sticking out that way. So just going around doing all this, one thing you do have to think about is utilities or plumbing drains that are going to be exiting the building. So what I did yesterday was put my forms in up until the point where I had to put in my water service. So what I kind of did for this is I stopped short of this whole form, stopped here. I did place the form, level it out, kept my string up, and what I did that for is so that I can measure where inside this room I want this to be. So what I figured, and if you have everything strung up and squared up and everything sort of in order and take your time, you could get these very accurate. So what I did was trenched out, kind of rough mark where I want it, trenched out where it was going to go, and then I still have my string up, and then what I did was I measured off my string, which is outside of concrete. I took into account the 2x6 board that's just 5.5 inches, and then a 1/2 inch of drywall that would get you to 6 inches. And then I came up with, I think, about a 2-inch gap between this and the drywall. So you have to sort of make sure you think about those things so that when they go to frame it or when they go to drywall it, you're not putting pipes or conduits where they should not be, or they're going to be an issue later. Now, working with a slab home, it is difficult like that, where you have to think about all those things. It's not like you're going to be in the basement later and just drilling up a hole where you need it. So very important to make sure you're laying out everything correctly. So the beautiful thing about this is these forms is I actually have to also, when I do my plumbing, run out a pipe. Now, likely I'm going to have to dig down here and trench a little bit as well. So what I've done is I haven't staked this form here. I actually put one in on accident and said, whoops, I got to take this thing out. So I yanked the stake out. I'll be able to pull these boards out right here and keep the stakes in the other forms and just eliminate this section right here and take it out. So then I'll be able to do my plumbing, fill my dirt back in, tamp it, put my stone back down, and we're good to go. So I could take it out now, but I really want everything locked together and not moving on me. So when I go and do all the plumbing work, that's when we'll remove that. Same thing is going to happen over in the garage area. We are going to run a linear trench drain through the entire garage, and I will have it exiting this way. So just one more thing to think about. Just to not stake in this one, I'll put the boards in, but I won't stake in that form, and then we'll pull that out later. So yeah, that's it. The process has, believe it or not, I did almost all of this by myself, solo person. Now, again, I'm a little more confident because I've done this before. I kind of have everything down to a system and a pattern. Not recommended to do it by yourself the first time, but I did all of this by myself, at least the entire back wall, the water line, in one full day of work. So I was working very hard and diligently, and I'm feeling it today, but it's very doable. So obviously additional help is great. You just have to understand that with additional help comes goofing off and taking maybe more breaks, but I literally just worked straight, 8 hours or so, maybe more yesterday. So that's where we're at. I'm just going to continue putting these forms in. I am actually coming up with a plan of how I want to bring in all the stone here. So what I'm going to do, I have my wash stone pile here on the driveway, so I've been peeling off that for these forms. When that's gone, I'm actually just going to leave, like I did over there, leave some sections to be able to take it out. Now there's no plumbing over in that entire part of the house, so once I get this wing coming out this way, I am going to just have a truck dump stone right there just to bring it in, so I don't have to keep hauling it back and forth, and just spread it out. And then that part will be completely done. I'll fill it with stone to the right height of the inside. I didn't really mention that. Is basically what my plan is filling up this entire thing with stone. Now, I am doing that because I could get stone at a decent cost here. I know it'll be completely hard packed. You can do a trench style excavation here if you want for these sort of footers. You could just trench out and use some of the dirt in the inside, but yes, I need to fill this all with stone. Good chunk of money, but overall in the entire cost of a build, it's not much. So just something else to think about. Yeah, so sort of the one thing to take away from this is just planning, plan everything as much as it possibly can, and then you still have to just make sure everything's right. With a slab foundation home, you really need to make sure everything is on point and there's no fixing it later. So hope you guys like this video. I'm going to be posting a lot more of this build, probably a few more as we progress with these footer forms and obviously pouring concrete. A lot of work here to do, but subscribe if you haven't yet. Give this video a thumbs up. Any questions at all about this sort of footer system or just any work in general, just leave comments, email me. My contact information is in my bio. So stay tuned and we'll see you guys on the next one.